to order at 5:05. First agenda item, discussion and possible action on May 11th, 2020 Public Works meeting minutes. Any discussion or issues with the minutes?
I would move approve.
I heard a move by Paul, and then Sarah, did you second?
I will second that. I'm just not on board right now.
Sorry about that.
Okay, moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. New business, discussion and possible action on the proposal submitted by Cedar Corp to perform Public Works Facilities Assessment.
So I'll be taking this. Yeah, I'll be taking this one, Jim. So prior to the pandemic, I was I inquired about receiving some quotes or some RFPs for Public Works Facilities Assessment. We all know the current condition of our facilities and the fact that they're spread out around the community, and trying to condense into one facility on a centralized location to house all of our equipment, staff, so on and so forth, so we're not spread out. In order to do so, we just want to get a baseline of what our current facility needs are, what our deficiencies are, what are some opportunities or challenges moving forward, identify some potential sites in the city, and then also get some preliminary schematics of what a facility could look like. So it's kind of the first step as we look towards the future and getting a new facility. I'm a realist, and I understand that the current environment that we're in, the economics, the pandemic, so on and so forth, that we're probably looking 5 to 7 years down the road. But I just want to get the ball rolling and take some baby steps, at least get the assessment done, maybe identify a piece of property within the city that we can purchase and hold, and then maybe design the facility and then go for construction, but take it year by year. But I just kind of want to get an idea of where we currently are and get a professional engineering firm in here that does this day in and day out and to do our facility assessment. So I did reach out to 2 companies. Cedar Corp, I've done some work with Cedar Corp in the past. They're a smaller firm. They're currently doing the Public Works facility in Menominee. They did a preliminary assessment in New Richmond when I was there, so I'm very familiar with them. They do a good work, and they're reasonably priced, as you can see per the issue sheet. Then the other firm that I had reached out to is Strand Associates. They had done some work for us, some preliminary work on the boat launch. They submitted a proposal for them, so we've been in touch with them recently on some different projects. So just to get a secondary quote, just to compare what the pricing would be. And as you can see, Cedar Corp submitted a proposal, total dollar amount to perform the assessment, $14,975. So the money, talking with Aaron, we would take this out of undesignated capital. When this would go to council, based upon your approval, is yet to be seen, just because of kind of the budgetary climate that we're in. I might not get to council until August, September, maybe July, depends upon what you discuss tonight. But I just want to clear this first hurdle so that when we do get the green light, we can put it on the council agenda and you have all had a chance to review the proposals and chime in. So with that, I'm here to answer any questions. Both proposals were in the packet for your review. You can see kind of what the breakdown or what the timeline is as far as what Cedar Corp would come in and do for us as part of the facility assessment, and preparing us for that next step. So I'll leave it at that.
Mike, did you say that they're currently working on a public works facility for another city?
Yes, so they are doing the public works facility for the city of Menominee.
Do you know if they have other public works facilities in their on their resume, if you will?
Yep. So in the packet, it does list some county workshops, a couple other city workshops in the area. I don't have the packet in front of me offhand, but it does give a breakdown of other facilities that they have worked on in the past.
Great.
Yeah, Mike, I know when I came on board just over 2 years ago that Tom Zuley was, talking about the need for this, and I know it's kind of been on the back burner for a few years because we've been getting the fire station up and running, right? So I liked what I saw from Cedar Corp. I liked the process. I think it's well thought out. I think it gives us some really good expertise from people who've done this before. And then it sounds like they would work kind of in consultation, maybe with yourself or whatnot with us to go forward. But I also like that you're saying this isn't probably, next year, because we have some real budget issues and we're still going to be paying off the fire station for a while. But I'm definitely supportive of a needs assessment to really look at what makes sense. And it sounds like from the packet, they'd have some options, right? They'd have some options for built kind of brand new, what it might be like and what the price tag would. They have some options for if you were going to, work off your existing facilities or do some changes. So I kind of like that it was broad in its scope and it's not tied to any kind of one outcome, but that it's really looking at it from a needs assessment. So I think it makes a lot of sense. I would move to approve the proposal for Cedar Corporation to do the needs assessment as put forward in the information sheet.
I would second that and add to that. It's my feeling that the Public Works Department, the various locations that we have are, prime real estate. I'm excited about what Cedar Corporation might present, and getting it down to one facility rather than, many. I think that over the course of time, this project might actually pay for itself. Just the prime real estate we have, overlooking Lake Malibu, St. Croix River, we have some nice spots that definitely the land is worth a lot of money. So it might be something that maybe we can do sooner than the 7 years.
That's a good point. Yeah, I've had been involved with Cedar Corp for over the years and other projects, and I have a lot of respect for their ability. They're good, sound, practical, realistic. That's been my experience with them. So no smoke and mirrors with these guys. So I'm glad that they came in with that bid. I'm very familiar with them. So that's helps me. The other thing is, I think I guess I'd like to move this forward get it in front of the council and get that approved, because we have to have this step in order to be professional about what we're doing. I mean, everybody complains about, we got this and that and this and that, but to have someone else come in and take a look at it and put some real definition to what we have and what we need would be a good first step forward. And then we can get it into our mindset. Okay, at what point is this going to come into play into the budget? So, but it needs to come out there. It's as needed as much as the fire hall. So, in my view. So, I guess that's the other part of this. How soon? Maybe we should just let's vote on accepting this or not. And so, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Now, I guess the discussion is, which Mike brought up, is when do we want to get this in front of the council? It's a pretty low expenditure, 15 grand. I mean, low, but I think we need to get this in front of the council so we get the study done, and then we've got the base for. We know that then we have an idea of what we're talking about. What number are we talking about? $2 million, $5 million, $10 million. What is it we're talking about? So we need that in order to start getting that into our plan. That's my perspective, but I'm kind of a let's go for it type of guy.
Yeah, I would agree. I would bring it forward to council sooner rather than later. But what I also like, Jim, I think, is if I understand the packet correctly, is they're going to be presenting some various options, it sounds like. And I think that's good for council to start chewing on that and to
Mhm.
really look at some of that. We don't really know what they're going to come up with, right? So, but I'm all for let's get it going and moving it forward. So,
It might also be, since we're doing our strategic plan and planning on land use, it would be a good time to have that as a piece of that. So I don't know what was Mike, do you know the time frame for them completing this?
Lots of, you bring up a good point too, Jim, with the comp plan. You know, they would probably come in here and complete it within a couple of months' time. 2-3
Yeah,
months.
I'm in agreement with the other two folks here. Sooner the better. We need, even if we don't commit to actually doing it, we need to know what we're looking at, and with the comp plan in progress, now is really the time, you know.
Mhm.
And I, you know, with the fact too that, you know, time is money, and the time that it takes for our staff to work with the several different buildings that they're working with right now, you know, there's a dollar figure there as well. I think that this is a really great project. It's been one that ever since I got on council, I've been excited about.
All right, so I will bring this to council sooner rather than later.
yeah, on the packet it says they have 5 steps, right? And it says June, July for I think the first 4, and it says step 5 in August. So I read that they kind of want to get in here and do it this summer, if I'm reading that right, Mike.
Correct, Paul.
Okay,
All right, we're good.
we're good on that one. Now, if I get back to the agenda here. What's our next agenda item, Deb?
It is discussion and possible action on the LOE from Bolton and Mink in the amount of $85,400 for Vine Street and Carmichael Road improvements related to the Bella Rose development.
Yeah, so this is essentially construction inspection services for the Vine Street reconstruction and the interim improvements to Carmichael Road related to the Bella Rose development. So Bolton and Mink did the design on the project and completed the plans and everything. So this is just the next step to get those plans into fruition. So the cost of the services would build a developer for this. So need approval to go to City Council for approval.
And you did say that the developer is heading this?
Yep.
I'll entertain a motion.
Paul, I think you're muted. I saw you trying to talk there.
Sorry. Yeah, I was trying to say, I wanted to move to approve the LOE for Bolton and Mink for that. Or is it for the cost? Is that what you're looking for? Cost of the engineering service billed to the developer at Bella Rose.
Mm-hmm.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and second to approve the LOE for the construction around Vine Street related to Bella Rose. Any more discussion on this project?
Just one quick note. We're anticipating that construction will be starting probably mid-July and be done by Labor Day out there. So
Really? Good.
Yep.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And Deb?
Yep. Next one is approve the letter of engagement from Bolton and Mink in the amount of $38,080 for engineering services related to the 2020 mill and overlay project for Industrial Street and Stage Line.
yeah, so again, this is King Bolton and Mink on board to provide inspection services for our 2020 mill and overlay project, Industrial Street and Stage Line Road. So what they would be doing out there is just essentially being the eyes on the project to make sure everything gets constructed correctly. The cost would come from the project CIP funding sources, and the storm sewer fund's kind of split between whatever the end cost split ends up being between those various components of the project. Yeah. We're actually having a pre-construction meeting tomorrow for this project. We anticipate that they'll probably be wanting to start working out there in the next few weeks here to be done by, again, Labor Day. So I'm not really exactly sure they're going to start right away, or if they're just kind of wanting to get the meeting out of the way so that they can, get going whenever they can. But hopefully we'll have some more updates maybe by next week at City Council. So.
All right. Any discussion on this project?
No, I would make the motion to approve the letter of engagement from Bolton and Mink for $38,080 for the 2020 Millen Overlay Project on the industrial and state line.
Second.
So move it in second to move this motion forward. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Deborah,
Okay.
your
Let's
turn.
see, what do we get? Mike Mraz can provide the project updates for, he can just name them as you go. Do you want to do that, Mike?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Project
So
update.
Yep, I'll fire through these, and feel free to answer or ask any questions, and stop me, and either Dean and I can give you an answer. So item A is update on the retaining wall policy. So Dean has reached out to Bolton and Mink and some other engineering firms, requesting some numbers on a structural engineer to weigh in on our retaining wall policy. The reason being is, neither Dean nor my expertise is in retaining walls and structures, and we don't fully comprehend the percent lean, what constitutes as a failing wall, how many cracked blocks does there need to be before it's deemed a failed wall, so on and so forth. So we're trying to go and find an expert in the field to support the document in fact, so that we get away from just looking at a retaining wall and you kind of see a tip and it's like, oh yeah, that looks bad, let's replace it. We want to have some facts and have some sound facts, and so we feel that that's probably the best way to go about doing so. So we're waiting to get some feedback from some of those firms, whether it's going to cost $2,000 for them to review the document and put in the industry standards, so on and so forth. But that'll be upcoming on an upcoming Public Works Committee meeting to probably enter into an agreement with a firm to review our policy and make sure that it is, from a engineering standpoint, sound. So, Dean, do you have anything to add on that?
No, not really. We just felt like, just to avoid the inevitable confrontations with people, because retaining walls are a tricky subject because they're a lot of expense, and somebody can look at a retaining wall and say, oh, that looks fine, that'll stay up for another 20 years, and somebody else looks at it and says, that's going to fall down tomorrow. Where is it? Somewhere in the middle. So I wanted to put some real thought and conditions into our policy, just to make sure that it's backed up by reason and common sense. So to head off some of the eventual arguments. So yeah, that's the reason. Okay. So we've got kind of a draft policy together. We're just kind of waiting on the engineering portion of it to bring a kind of fuller package to this committee in hopefully next month, I would hope, but if not, the month after or so.
And then the other major point of discussion that's going to have to happen with that policy is the assessment portion, right? How do we want to approach the assessment of shared walls, walls that are on the right-of-way line, so on and so forth. So that'll be, we'll dig up some examples from other communities and try to find. It's very different. I've tried looking previously when I drafted this last summer. There's not a lot of policies on retaining walls, unfortunately. So we'll have to do a little bit of digging on what other communities do for assessments. So that'll be upcoming here, and we'll try to get that hammered out over the next couple of months to get something on the books. So, I receive phone calls, maybe once a month on a retaining wall. So we got to have something in place moving forward. Item B, the 2020 sidewalk curb and gutter replacement program. Obviously, we're moving forward with that. We do have a public hearing on June 15th at the council meeting where residents are able to come in and speak. Dean did send out letters to all the affected residents who are going to be assessed per the policy for having their sidewalk replaced. So they're able to come and speak on that. So just let you know that project is moving forward. Bids are going to be due. When is the bid due, Dean?
I don't recall exactly the date, but it was mid-July.
Okay. So that one is progressing. Item C is a 2020 mill and overlay. Dean touched base on that. We do have a pre-con tomorrow, and we can inform the board after our pre-con when they're thinking of starting that project. And that encompasses Industrial Street from Crestline to Hanley, and then also Stage Line from Crestview, yep. And then Stage Line from Carmichael to the roundabouts on Stage Line, the roundabout on Stage Line. And then lastly, the COVID Public Works operations. Obviously, with the pandemic, we are still trying to limit our contact between our staff as much as possible. We're still having staff report to different facilities. A few reporting to the East Garage, a few reporting to the West Garage, and a few reporting to the Ward Avenue Garage. And then we are trying to select projects where we're working in pairs and kind of working in pairs for the entire summer. So we're not flip-flopping, one staff is working with one staff member this week and then they're going to another staff member, so on and so forth. So we're trying to be conscious of, who they're working with and kind of the social distancing guidelines through the county. The staff is taking their breaks and lunches in the field to limit the amount of exposure at the shops. And obviously we're supplying them with all the clean solutions. The guys are wiping down the trucks every day after they're using them, providing them with the appropriate PPE. We're telling them, if you need something, let us know. This is serious. So we're trying to take care of the staff as much as possible while still trying to function in the city, because as you can imagine, the grass doesn't stop growing, or the potholes don't stop forming, or the lines still need to be striped. So we're trying to manage as best as we can, and so far it's been working fairly well.
Excellent.
Did you want to go back to D and do the 2020 street maintenance program?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so 2020 street maintenance program, we did just receive the signed contracts back from Farner. We have not heard of a starting date as of yet. So that's kind of the update on that. So we do have the signed contracts on hand.
Yep. And that project also has to be done by Labor Day. So I would imagine it's not going to take like a super long time for them to do. So once they end up showing up in town, it'll probably be a matter of a week or two to get that done, and then they'll be on their way. So, but we'll let you know when we know more.
Thanks for the update. You guys are doing a great job. Thanks for the updates.
Okay, then the next is items for future agendas.
I think obviously we put on we'll touch base with the retaining wall policy, the sidewalk. We'll have some, I believe the sidewalk curb and gutter bid might be before the next Public Works Committee meeting, Dean, to get it approved at Public Works.
I believe that was the intent. So
yeah, so that'll be on there. It's hard to keep all these projects bid opening here. We got a listing in the paper here. It's yeah. So those are two off the top of my head.
We may, depending on how it shakes out, start talking about the pavement management plan at either next month or the month after, kind of depending on if we're able to get enough information together beforehand. So
that does bring.
I was going to ask about that, Dean. There's no pressure, like it has to happen now, but I'm just really supportive of getting that rolled out whenever you guys have time for that. So
yeah, I've been actually working on it a fair amount in the past week or two just to tie up some loose ends so that we're able to really start talking about it and have first draft put together for everybody to kind of see and react to and everything. So look forward to that in the next month or two.
So speaking of that, the July Public Works Committee meeting, seeing that we are a smaller committee, and I'd like to do that pavement management plan in person. I think it's a lot easier to discuss and look at and look through. And we don't have to decide tonight, but I just want to get all of you thinking about the possibility of meeting at City Hall for that meeting in July, just so we can kind of hammer through that document and answer any questions that you have. Obviously, we should know a lot more by the end of June, where we're kind of sitting as a county and as a region, and we can make the decision then. So, but just something to think about as we move through the month here.
Okay. Are there any other policies long term? And this pavement management is a good one. It really is. What's our future look like for the next several years? So that's one we need to get done. My favorite, Mike, and I know we had a brief discussion about that. And of course, that's talking about snow removal and when it's 90 degrees out. We still need to dress that policy up and make some improvements there. So where is it on? I'm not asking that you do it, just kind of what's on your agenda, your guys' agenda in terms of these, of developing the policies about how we operate.
So specifically for the snow removal policy, I would like to get something in place, obviously, before the upcoming 2021 winter season. We did have some brief discussions on, the city taking over the trail system, and then possibly trying to figure out a different way to remove snow downtown in a more a quicker fashion. Obviously, there's going to be some dollar amounts associated to taking over those responsibilities that we haven't done in the past, or changing some of the procedures that we've done. So, I would like to probably bring that back to the board, August, September sometime, and flush it out then. That's kind of my timeline right now.
All right, good. Does anybody have anything else?
I do not. Again, I want to say thanks for all the work that Public Works does. I think that everything is looking really, really great. I love the way that Walnut Street turned out down at Lakefront. It's beautiful. So, way to go.
Good work, yeah. I would move to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.